Okay, good morning. Welcome to the Saturday morning education class. We are coming to the end of Zoroastrianism 301. We have a few more sessions left. But before we start, let's do a short prayers and raise your hands to Ahura Mazda and say one Yatha Veryu, one Hashem Vahu, and one Yenge Hatam, please. Thank you very much. Yatha Ahu Veryu, Atarato Shashati Dachau. Vangehosh Tasdam Manangu Shautananamangehosh Mazdai Ashatrim Cha Auraya Imderigu Vyudadat Vastarem Hashem Vahu Vahishtem Asti Ushtasti Ushtamai Yatashai Vaishtai Shem Yengyatamat Yasnipeti Vangumazda Uruvita Ashada Chao Yangam Chao Tans Chao Tao Chao Yasmaide. Thank you very much. Welcome to the GATHA section of Zoroastrianism 301. We've been discussing for the last 4 or 5 weeks, 4 or 5 sessions, the different GATHAs, where they are located in yasna prayers. And of course, we know there are 17 chapters that we have available in our hands of the GATHAs. And we've discussed the Aunavaiti Gatha, which is also called Aunavad Gatha. And the Aunavad Gatha is a declaration of Ashu Zarathustra, declaring his service to mankind. Then comes the second Gatha, which is the happiness Gatha, Ushtavaiti Gatha or Ushtavad Gatha. Now, I was asked a question last time or the time before. What is the difference between Ushtavaiti and Ushtavad? Both are correct. Now, Ushtavad is a recent language, and it's the Pahlavi language. It came later on, while Ushtavaiti is the original Avesta word. So let's look at SPENTA-MAINYU, the third Gatha. Of course, the third Gatha has 4 chapters. And it's also called SPENTA-MAINYU. SPENTA-MAINYU. That is the Avesta word for that Gatha that has been assigned to it. Now, what is the Pahlavi word for it? SPENTA-MAD. So if you look at SPENTA-MAD, SPENTA-MAD, all those are correct. This is also correct. So it depends on which language you use for the title of the Gatha. Now, this third Gatha is very interesting and important, and I want to tie it in. I want to admit somebody. So I want to tie it into a few things that we know already, and how do we attach this to this. So I'm going to show you something. I hope you can see me. Can you see me, guys? I hope so. If you can see the Fariborz symbol, there are 2 tassels at the bottom of the Fariborz symbol, starting from the waist. Now, either one, either the left side or the right side, it doesn't matter the way you look at it. Remember what this title we discussed in the first session, or in the first section, Zoroastrianism 101. This is called SPENTA-MAINYU. SPENTA-MAINYU. Remember that. And we'll tie that SPENTA-MAINYU in the Gatha to the Fariborz symbol. Also remember, where else does Spenta come from? Do you know? We have the 6, or if you add Urmaz, which is God, we have the 7 Amshar spans. 6 plus 1. And what are they called? Spents. Amesha Spentas. Get it? SPENTA-MAINYU, the third Gatha, has Spenta in it, also added to Amshar Sepand, which is there, and Mubed Ashkane Vastani's son is Sepand. Or my brother's changed last name is Spenta. He changed it from Shahzadi to Spenta. So Spenta to me is a very valuable name. It's a very valuable Pahlavi word, Avesta word. And now let's see what we can tie and find out in the Gatha, now I'm doing only summary. I'm not doing a line by line, word by word translation of the Gathas. You can pick up any book, any Gatha book, and there are many, many, many scores of them. And they'll give you the meanings of the words. They'll give you the meanings of individual verses. Now, my guru on the Gathas is Mubed Firuze Ozar Gushas. He is the one. And I'll show you these two books. If you have access to these two books, you should study them. And I'll bring it over. The first book that I like is in Farsi and in English. It's the Gatha book by Mubed Firuze Ozar Gushas. Extremely interesting. He does translate individual verses of the Gathas. Now, the total I consider to be the Bible of the Gathas is this book. If you can find a copy of Dr. Taraporwala, Dr. Iraj Taraporwala, this is the most complete, everything on the Gathas. If you have this copy, I'm sure the library at CZC in Westminster has this copy. It's called The Divine Songs of Zarathustra. Really, if you have a copy of this, please treasure it. If you don't have a copy, maybe some family member or friends have a copy. I'm sure there are copies of this in the CZC Westminster. So if you have a chance safely to go to CZC in Westminster, you can look at it. And this is the ultimate in Gathas. So let's go into now the third Gatha, which has 4 chapters. So going to the next slide. Oops. Yeah, I think I can go to the next slide. Yes. Okay. So what does SPENTA-MAINYU mean? Let's figure it out. The words SPENTA-MAINYU or SPENTA-MAD. And when you say it's not mad, it's mad, M-A-D-H, but they write it M-A-D. So Spenta means holy or bountiful or virtuous or good. Good that is above good is holy, something that we can revere, we can venerate. And what is the translation of the word Mainyu? So Mainyu is a spiritual attitude or a mental attitude. It's an attitude you develop in your lifetime, and that holy attitude you develop will take you towards progress, will take you towards the betterment of your life as we know it, and in Zoroastrianism. So no matter how you translate these two words, and there are different translations of this, and all are good. All are good. It represents the good side of you. Remember the Pravahar? It represents the good force versus the evil force or the bad force or the not good force. So Spenta and Mainyu is an attitude, it's a spirit. And the people who separated or took the Gathas and put them in a compilation of 4 in the third Gatha have decided that SPENTA-MAINYU will discuss the choice that is available to you in your life. And once again, the first lesson I taught you on the Gathas and I shared with you is we have a choice. And what is the choice? Always you have a choice between good and not good, good and evil, the ultimate truth, righteousness or not righteousness. Paramji, there's one other person, I'm going to admit it. Okay, I hopefully admitted that person. I think Baram needs to admit.
Yes, I already did that.
Thank you so much. I do appreciate it.
Yeah,
I saw it on my screen. So regardless how you translate Spenta and Mainyu, it always means the good choice. So let's take the first chapter of SPENTA-MAINYU Gatha, which is Yasna 47. So as I've discussed, there are 72 chapters in the Yasnas, which is a collection of different interpretations of our most sacred scriptures. And in that, chapter 47 is Yasna 47. Now, once again, chapter 47 is a very important, look through it, if you have any translation of the Gathas, or if you have the Gatha book in Farsi, English, look through it. Sometimes many of the quotes that are taken in letters, in newsletters, are taken also from the Yasna 47. Because regardless of the translation, some of the gems that you will find in Yasna 40 or in the third Gatha, SPENTA-MAINYU Gatha, are used to declare and to stress different attributes of Zoroastrianism. So Yasna 47, which is the first chapter of the SPENTA-MAINYU Gatha, what does it say? Let's examine it just briefly. So in this Gatha, Ahura Mazda discusses his theology, his doctrines, his total theology. And what that means is, what is he discussing? What he's discussing is right here, the right thinking. And he comes out and says, if you have the right thinking in your life, what will you get? What is the result? What is the reward of that right thinking? And the right thinking, the reward of it is the gifts you will get in perfecting integrity. And if you have integrity and perfect integrity in your lifetime, from the day one all the way till the last day you are on this earth, you will be remembered in immortality for you and your family members. Now, there's another thing it discusses. It also discusses the other arm of SPENTA-MAINYU. And Ahura Mazda in this discusses Aka-MAINYU, Angra-MAINYU. SPENTA-MAINYU on one side, Aka-MAINYU or Angra-MAINYU on the other side. And he doesn't say Aka or Angra-MAINYU, he says evil. So he says, choose, you have a choice between Spenta and Angra or Aka. And which one should you choose? And what is the theological choice you should always make in your life? And he discusses in this chapter, Yasna 47, the choice of the right thinking leading to perfection, leading to immortality. Now, Yasna 48, the second chapter of the SPENTA-MAINYU Gatha. So this chapter has a lot of turmoil in it, and there is a certain amount of uncertainty that Ahura Mazda discussed in this chapter. And I'm sure he was living during a time of a lot of social and political uncertainty. Remember that. Ahura Mazda is trying to bring a message to the people in his tribe and around him of this wonderful idea he has, the idea of Ashui, Avunavar, the idea of the right choice. And whenever you bring out a new idea, whenever you bring out something to and bring it out in the open to the people, to the public, what's going to happen? There's going to be opposition. There's going to be pushback. And during this time, people were used to doing things a certain way. So there was social and political uncertainty. Even he discusses in that political uncertainty. So even though in this political and social uncertainty, Ahura Mazda gives you in this Gatha the assurance, he gives you the assurance that Ahura Mazda is going to be on your side and you will receive help from Ahura Mazda. So that is very important. So he does pose some rhetorical questions, and affirmative response always in this Gatha is, regardless of your doubts, you should count on Ahura Mazda, because Ahura Mazda will protect you by giving you the right thinking, which you have ingrained in you. And if you follow that choice, you can stay away from evil and follow the path of good or righteousness in your life. So in Yasna 48, he discusses that choice that's available to you, and he's giving you an assurance that, hey, remember in Fravahar, the hand pointing upwards, Ahura Mazda is not abandoning you. He's there looking after you. So the Fravahar ties into Yasna 48 and SPENTA-MAINYU GATHA. Let's take the next chapter. Chapter 49 is a dissertation, or is a chapter that discusses the two forces that you face in your life every day. And what are those two forces? Those two forces are righteousness and unrighteousness. See, the whole religion of Zarathustra, the whole religion of Zoroastrianism is boiling down to what? The one word, righteousness, and staying away from unrighteousness, good and not good. So in 49, in Yasna 49, the third chapter of SPENTA-MAINYU GATHA, he deals with this conflict. He says every day, every hour, every situation, there is a conflict between righteousness and unrighteousness. And he discusses this, and he makes you aware that regardless of your situation, you are always faced with this choice in your life. And Yasna 49 discusses. But then he's asking one other thing. He's asking a favor. And what is that favor? He's asking God, Ahura Mazda, a favor. And that favor is, please continue giving please continue making my people, the people of the world, use what? Wohuman, or the good mind. And this is very beautiful. This is a very beautiful philosophy. And this reflects how clear his thinking is, how crystal clear this human being, this man, this prophet, Zarathustra, is thinking, and he's boiling down the whole concept, the whole theology into such simple terms. And also, there are two characters he discusses in this Gatha. I want to introduce those two characters. One of them is Zarathustra, and the other one was Jamaspa. So in his own tribe, in his own following, the people that used to come to him for lectures, for his theology, there was a follower who supported him, and his name was Zarathustra, and he mentions this person. And then outside of his circle of influence, there was another called Jamaspa. And I've heard Jamaspia, and I've heard name Jamas and Jammy and all those words. Now you know this outside the court that he was involved in were there, and historically he does discuss these two people, saying that these are the people that support me, and he does mention them by name in this Yasna 47 or the SPENTA-MAINYU GATHA in the third chapter. Now, Yasna 50. This is a very, very important chapter in SPENTA-MAINYU GATHA. So what is it that is so important about Yasna 50? Now, he says he is devoting, no, he's not devoting. He's saying that he is totally convinced that he will get supported by who in his quest for preaching to the people in his tribe, in his surrounding tribes. When he's preaching, he's convinced, and he comes out and tells that I'm totally convinced that Ahura Mazda, God, will support me, and he expects that support from him. He's so convinced, and you should be also convinced that to follow the path of righteousness, if you want help from Ahura Mazda, God is there in your corner, on your side, and he will support you in your quest for righteousness. So he also in this Yasna chapter 50 discusses the ideal state. And what is the ideal state? I discussed SPENTA-MAINYU, the holy, immortal, the whole structure he's discussing. And that's the path that you should be following in your life. So he discusses the ideal stage or the ideal state, and how can you reach that ideal state. Again, goes back to Homata, that goes back to Wohuman, that goes back to the good mind. So when you study the Gathas, when you study Zoroastrianism, when you study this thing, remember, you have been blessed with this thing over here that's inside your head. That's Wohuman. And use it. And if you use it correctly, using SPENTA-MAINYU in your lifetime, you will reach the ideal state, which is his theology, which is his preaching. And how can you do it? Of course, through here. Oh, I've talked too much. I hope you got something out of it. Yasna 50 is a beautiful Gatha, and I love it. It's showing you the path. It's showing you you have a choice, and you should choose the right choice. With that, I'm going to end this, and I want you to now mull over it. I want you to think about SPENTA-MAINYU Gatha, the third Gatha. We'll go into Vauchashat and Vaishtoesh Gatha, the last two Gathas. They're short, one chapter each, and we'll discuss both of them. And the beauty about those two Gathas, especially the last Gatha, is very, very, very beautiful. And I'll tell you when we get to it, okay? But meanwhile, thank you very much for joining me. I hope you get even one little idea from this Gatha and from what I'm teaching you. You're one idea ahead in your life. Thank you very much. Let's end with two prayers, which is Piruzbad, which is may this religion of Zarathustra always be successful, and one Ashambho. So let's raise our hands and say the prayer, Piruzbad. Piruzbad Kharu Avija Vahdine Mazyasnan. Piruzbad Kharu Avija Vahdine Mazyasnan. Piruzbad Kharu Avija Vahdine Mazyasnan. And one Ashambho, please recite with me. Hashem Bahu Vahishtamasti Ushtasti Ushtamai Yadashai Vaishtai Hashem. Thank you very much for joining me on a Saturday. You're taking time off from your wonderful life. Please do stay safe. Do take care of each other, and always be happy, smiling, and always follow the path of righteousness in your life. Thank you very much. If there's no other choices, no other questions, I hand it back to my beautiful friend, my wonderful friend, Baramji. Thank you very much for taking me on this path, on this journey for the last 7-8 months. And I continue to love you, and I continue to express my gratitude for letting me teach X number of people that join me every other Saturday.
Thank you, Fariborz. Your passion, your compassion for our beautiful religion is undeniable, and we really appreciate you dedicating your time and your effort away from your beautiful family and enlightening us with your words of wisdom as we cherish our beautiful religion. So that being said, hopefully we'll have the next session in 2 weeks, which will be on September 25th.
Yes.
I really appreciate you all for joining us today. And these sessions are being recorded, so you can actually rewatch them again on the czc.org website. And so thanks again. Stop recording now.